Hi, my name is Mikey Wizdom, and you're tuned in to the Griot in me. So a little secret that most people don't know is that I was born in Toronto. I'm from Scarborough, born and raised. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time in Trinidad and Tobago because that's where my parents were from. And they always said my 3 siblings were born there and I was the only one born here. But I tell them all the time that I should have got my TNT passport because I'm the most Trini out of all of them. But I spent a lot of time going back when I was a kid. All my summers were spent in Trinidad with my grandparents and my mom and my dad. So yeah, but most people assume, but I am from Scarborough. I thought it was home. I still think of it as home. It's my home. It's I can answer that question because when I went last year, it was the first time in 18 years that I had been back, and it was different. Things had changed, people changed, where my family was from, and everything looked a little bit different, sounded a little different, smelled a little different, but it was still home. So it felt weird going back, but at the same time, it still felt comfortable and felt like home. So, again, funny thing, my mom considered our household an embassy house. So you cross the threshold of that house and you were now in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So I always tell people I grew up with things as if I were there. All the rules, the culture, the way things were administered in a household were no different than if it were in Trinidad and Tobago. So I felt the same as all the same foods, all the same music, all the same culture, the words, the language, the accents, everything was the same as if I was there, because she always wanted us to have a little piece of that. She never took away being Canadian from us, but she always made sure that we grew up with our culture as a part of who we were. I'd say Ottawa has caught up, because coming from Toronto up to here, it always felt like Ottawa was 10 years behind all the other big cities in the world, which wasn't a bad thing because it was more quiet. There was less trouble here. Like, people were nicer. I remember the first time I came to play music in Ottawa, there was a snowstorm and we drove past somebody who had broken down on the side of the road, and every car that passed them stopped to ask them for help. And I said, you know you're not in Toronto when? Because in Toronto, I'm not stopping to ask you. I'll call 911 for you and say, oh, someone broke down, but I ain't stopping for you. And everybody here stopped and asked, and I said, is this how it is all the time? Like, people just stop and help people around here? I said, well, yeah, this is not Scarborough. So, by trade, I am a policy analyst for the government, but I got sick a while back, so I've been off, medically retired because of illness. But yeah, I was working for the federal government as a policy analyst, writer, and most people know I hate words. I love numbers. So me writing things does not make sense, but I'm pretty good at it. So, and my work here at CHUO is a passion. I can't call it work because I love everything that I do here, whether it's actually hosting and producing our own shows or helping out with anything they need, doing fundraisers, whatnot. I can't call it work. I just call it doing something I love and sharing a gift that I can share and people seem to appreciate and love. So music is everything to me, and I love sharing that with other people. Yeah, it's changed a lot. I think with the advent of digital music, there was something lost because access to music became so easy that the struggle to be one of us was removed. And I think that brotherhood or brother and sisterhood was valuable in the sense that people who loved music knew there was a struggle associated with it. To find that special record that no one else had, you sometimes had to travel very far to get it. And you had to know that I have to go now, because if I wait too long, it's gone. And now I can literally pull up any song that's ever been created in a matter of seconds on the internet. And I think that's removed something. It's also created something beautiful in the sense that now music can be shared by, and older music can be shared as well very easily, where before it was a problem. But I think the removal of that struggle kind of took something away from being a DJ or being a radio host or anything actually to do. Even people who weren't DJs or radio hosts knew the struggle of, if I had to get that song, I had to do something special to get that song. And now anyone can have it, you know? Even if you considered, like, I had to know someone who knew somebody who had a double cassette recorder so I could rub the, you know, and copy the cassette so that I could have that song. All that's gone now. I put it on my phone and, yo, you want that song? There it is. So beautiful again in the sense now everyone can share everything with everyone, but at the same time, there was something special about having something that someone else didn't have. So if I were to say anything changed, I'd say the ability to share and transfer and copy and all. Digital music has changed a lot. So yeah. If you don't love it, stay away, because you're going to do more damage than any good. A lot of people get involved with it for the wrong reasons. There's a lot of shine to being on the radio and being a DJ, you know, like people know you and you stand in front of crowds and there's free things to be had. And if you're a male, the lady thing is a very lovely benefit, fringe benefit to, you know what I mean? Ladies love DJs but yeah, I'd say if your heart's not in music and if you don't love music, then stay away from it. Listen to it on the radio or Spotify or whatever the case is. Pull it up on YouTube. Just stay away from this side of it, because you're going to damage. And people think, you know, it's not a little damage. It does big damage when you get put in a position to do something that you don't love and you're holding back from someone who does love it. And I'd rather have the guy who isn't good at it but wants to be there and loves it be there than the guy who has the technical skills but couldn't care less whether he was there or not. Like if it's not in you, if it's not your heart, then just leave it alone. Stay away from it. I coach sports. I like to travel. I like to drive and see places. But again, oddly enough, guess what gets woven into every aspect of all of those things? When I travel, I cannot travel without music around me. Every car that I've owned has a lovely system in it. And my kids have, now that they're older, they've kind of caught on to the fact that, oh, you buy a car and then next thing you know, there's something in the back and you know what I mean? Like, I need it. It's my drug. It's my thing. It's my muse. It's everything to me. So all my hobbies, everything I do kind of probably at some point in time will revolve and evolve and surround music in some form or fashion. I don't know if y'all have enough time for that. I've learned, and I try to teach people to absorb every second of every day. Most recently, we got taught that lesson in a very serious and home way. You know, when people say it hit close to home, this didn't hit close to home. It was home. Like, you know, we lost somebody who we were with less than an hour before they passed away, and again, it didn't change my outlook on life because it's how I live. I've been really sick. I've gone through some crazy health issues, and I came to understand that every second, there's always something you can grab and hold on to in every second of every day. In the worst of worst scenarios, there's always something positive you can pull from it. I live by a quote that I saw now. I don't know who said it. I wish I really should have taken the time to check, but it's not winners and losers, it's winners and learners. So if you don't win at something, then it's just an opportunity to learn something from it. And so I approach everything I do in my life, my kids, the coaching, the radio, everything I do, I approach it with, if I don't gain something out of this, then I'm going to learn something from it. And also everything, I find something to laugh about every single day. On the worst of days, I'm laughing. If I may, I had cancer surgery in 2009. And when I walked into the ward, when they were giving me the pre-tour of where I would be in recovery and all that, I stopped at the nurse's desk and I said to them, I'm going to be here next week, and I'm just warning you from now, it's going to be a party. Because if things don't go right and I ain't coming out of this place, I'm going out with a bang. So expect music, expect a lot of people. You're going to smell foods that you probably never smelled before, and it's going to be loud. And I'm coming in here to get healthy and to leave, and we're going to party while I'm doing it. And these people looked at me like I was crazy. And a week later, they realized, no, you're not crazy. You're just real. Like, this is how you live. And I lived my whole life like that. There's always something good and fun and funny and happy and joyous, and there's always something good to get out of life, and we gotta pay more attention to that than fussing and fighting with the bad things and the horrible things. They're always gonna be there, and it doesn't change anything. So if we take the time, we can always find something to be laughing and happy and smiling about it. That's just me. That's me 24 hours a day. Don't get me wrong, I get upset at things like everybody else, but guarantee you, if you check 24 hours, I did laugh at something. So I would want to change leaders. I would want leaders to understand that it's not about politics, it's about people. If we led with the idea that we were trying to make life better for people, not make life better for politics, I think the world would be a better place if we put people first. So if I wanted to change something, I'd want to change, and it doesn't have to be quote unquote leaders of countries. It could be you're a leader of a corporation, you're a leader of a team, stop thinking about put the people first. Forget what, I don't even know what I was trying to put the people first. If you put people first always, I think leaders would just be better people, better leaders. The outcomes of leadership would be much better if we always put people first. Find something to love and be passionate about. There's always, when people tell me they don't have a hobby or they don't have something they're passionate about, or I say, you just haven't looked hard enough yet. It doesn't have to be what's traditional to somebody else. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be music, it doesn't have to be a sport, it doesn't have to be computers, it doesn't have to be building. Find something you're passionate. You could be passionate about walking, and just walk more so that you're happier. But don't go through life without finding something to love and to hold on to and to adore and to think about and to embrace 24/7. There has to be something in your life that drives you. And I found that mine keeps changing every time I think, oh, that's it, then I find something else. I thought music was always going to be my everything, and then 3 kids landed in my house, and I couldn't love more than yeah, family. I think loving my kids and my wife is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, see, it kind of came up as a out of nowhere for me, and then it was on my lap, and I thought, what a wonderful exercise in life to put all of this in one place. Information is so valuable, and making that available, 1, easily, and 2, in one place where people don't have to go looking for it, when you can find, or you can absorb, or you can experience all of these things in one place. I think the work that is being put in is going to seem hard now and be it's going to give in multiples in return, just because the love for each other, love for our people, love for what we do, and sharing that so that someone else gets to experience it. Because a lot of times, I'm sure the people that are going to be a part of this project are removed from the public. The public doesn't have access to them. So it's hard to understand or get into that world without someone taking the time to share it with them. So I think it's a special thing. And well, as everyone knows, I hate, it's funny, a DJ who hates cameras and microphones. It seems ridiculous to think, but I think a lot of people in our position aren't extroverted. They're very quiet, kept to themselves people that just seem to be driven by something that not everybody's driven by. So being able to share that experience with other people, I think it's an amazing thing, and I congratulate everyone involved in this for doing what they're doing, because I wouldn't have done it on my own. I'm happy to do it, but I wouldn't have done it on my own. So I have a love for this, just simply because, not for me in particular, but for everybody to be able to share something that they may not have been able to share. Here still on this side of the earth. I think 10 years from now, I want to be able to look back and say, I gave so much to what I do that I don't have to do it anymore. It's always been my goal that I want to wake up one day and realize that there's a younger person doing what I do so well that it doesn't make sense for me to do it anymore. So I want to be able to, whether it's someone close to me or maybe someone who isn't close to me, because I've had people come up to me that I've never met before and say, I've been following you and listening to you since I was a little kid. I'm like, but you're a grown man, like, or a grown woman. Like, what do you mean since you were a kid? Well, you kind of been doing it for a while, you know what I mean? So I want one day for me to be able to look at one of these people and say, geez, like, wow, what you're doing is awesome, and it's time for me to stop doing what I'm doing and let you do what you do. But I'm not gonna give it up without a fight. If you come, and you gotta come right and proper, so that when I step back and say, go ahead, I can do it with a smile on my face saying, yeah, I like that, looks, yeah. So in 10 years, I wanna be sipping lemonade on a rocking chair saying, listen to that, woo! Yeah, and then I'd be happy. Or I'd still be here doing the same thing with a smile on my face. So either way, I win. I can have more than one answer? I want to see a community space for us that we can love and share each other in. I want to see a more open dialogue between people and entities. When I say entities, like associations and those kind of things, I want to see our children cherish our culture, not in a textbook fashion, but in a wholesome, absorb, and not just their culture, but everyone's culture around them. I want it to be, an ideal situation would be that they're doing it because they're doing it because they love what they're doing, and they're loving learning, and they're loving just loving the fact that it's there and it's available to them, versus I'm telling my son he has to learn this, or I'm telling my nephew that he should know this. I want them to start growing up in an environment where they want it for themselves, and where they're to give and provide it to them. And also, the last would be, I'd love more opportunities for our youth that engages them, so that they're removed from what's seemingly their path right now. It seems like there's this glorified path of violence and drugs and violence and all these things. And again, it's always going to be present, I think, around us. But I think when you make the positive things just as attractive, when sports and music and art and culture become just as cool and entertaining and engaging and family, because when you think about it, all the bad things seemingly surround around providing a family atmosphere where there isn't one. So when the good things become or are able to provide that environment at the same rate and in the same scale as the bad ones, I think naturally they're going to choose the good ones, just because it's good and it's wholesome. And if we can band together as people to make it more attractive and more wholesome, then I think we'd be all right. Again, you're never going to stop that side of things, but again, if you just get one, and it was one more than we had before, so